Thank you. Please be seated. All kidding aside, I am grateful for the technology that we have that allowed me to record last week's message ahead of the storm. By show of hands, how many of you got a chance to watch it, by the way? Oh, good. Bless your heart. I don't have to recap the whole thing. So, we're in week 5 now of this series called The Path. We've been learning about this principle. So good morning. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you braved the cold to be here in person, and you braved the comforts of your sofa to be here online. If you've been following along, that you've realized that the book of Proverbs says a lot about paths. In fact, Solomon uses that word, path, 29 times throughout Proverbs, 29 times. It must be important. I wonder why, right? Because Solomon understands something fundamental, that life is not random, that life moves in a certain direction. And we've been saying this every week. Our direction, not our intention, determines our destination. I wonder if we could say that together. My direction, not my intention, determines my destination. There it is, the principle of the path. But today, Solomon adds another layer to this principle. He's not just talking about your direction, he's talking about what determines your direction. Here's today's principle. What gets your attention determines your direction and ultimately determines your destination. So if we had to condense that, your attention determines your destination or direction. So listen again to Solomon's words. Let your eyes look straight ahead, fix your gaze directly before you. Make level paths for your feet and take only ways that are firm. Do not swerve to the right or to the left, but keep your foot from evil. So what he's getting to here is the principle of focus. Focus. Solomon is essentially saying this: look where you're going. As a parent, has any parent ever said that to a child of theirs? Hey, look where you're going, right? Why? Why do you say that? Because you are looking ahead. You know what is coming, right? We know this instinctively in our driving habits, or we should anyway. That's why every state has laws against texting and driving. Because when your eyes leave the road, even briefly, you begin to drift. And whatever has your attention determines your direction. So let me demonstrate this point for you. I brought a couple props today. This first prop is a 1985 Ford EXP with a standard transmission. I got to go around to the driver's side. Got to be safe, right? Now, I'm in my car, and here's what my driving position looks like while I'm driving that car. Left foot. Anybody know what the left foot's for? The clutch, right? The clutch. Now, some of you are nodding and saying, yes, that's correct. Others are going, what's a clutch? Ask your neighbor. Right foot, balance between the gas and the brake. Gas and the brake. Left hand on the steering wheel, right? Right hand on the gear shift. If you don't know what a gear shift is, ask your neighbor. right? This was my driving position. Now let's pull out of the parking lot. I've already turned the car on, by the way. Got to push down on the clutch, put it in first gear, ease it out. Mine was a 5-speed. Yeah. So my focus was really on several things in that driving position back, and to be honest with you, I was probably a better driver back then than I am today. But anyway, my focus was on several things. Number one, what's ahead of me? Number two, my speed limit, my speed, right? Number three, the RPMs. And as I'm watching the RPMs, I'm also listening and feeling with my body, because if you over rev it, you could blow the motor, right? Does anybody know the ideal shift RPM? 2,500. That's bonus, by the way. So you had all these things going on, and that was just if you were in a straight line. God forbid you stop at a stop sign on a hill. For those shaking your head, you've been there, done that. All right, I'm going to park the car now, get out. Let's fast forward to today. I don't have to, well, I'll open the door, yeah. Now I'm in my truck, a 2017 Ford F-150, four-wheel drive, not a bow tie, but a real truck. We have some, I hope my stock just didn't go down. Anyway, first on race day. Here's the position that I'm driving in. I no longer need my left foot. It's an automatic. I just need my right foot, right? Between the gas and the brake. Gas and the brake. Now I have left hand on the steering wheel, right? Shift. We have Sirius radio. We have cruise control. And some vehicles have smart technology where you can be hands-free of the steering wheel on cruise control, and it'll drive for you. But my truck doesn't have that. So here's where I'm. But now we introduce modern communication, right? This is where it gets dangerous, folks. Because we could be driving along, even hands-free, and then something happens. We get a notification or a text or something important that we think, and all of a sudden we're doing this. What do you think happens when we do this? Our hands naturally follow where we lean, right? We start to drift. That's true in driving and in life in general. If your eyes are on the phone, you start to drift in that direction. If your eyes are in the wrong things in life, guess what? You start to drift in that direction. That's why Solomon says, let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. I think some of the best drivers in the world are farmers. And I say that because have you ever gone past a farm field where the planting rows are like this? No. They're straight, focused. Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. Because whatever holds your attention shapes your direction, and that direction will take you somewhere, and sometimes that's not necessarily where you intended to wind up. There's a reason texting while driving is compared to driving blindfolded. At 55 miles an hour, 5 seconds of looking at your phone means that you've just driven the length of a football field blindfolded. Let that sink in for a minute, right? The length of a football field blind. And this isn't rare either. Distracted driving causes 1.6 million crashes every year in the United States alone. 1.6 million. That includes over 3,000 deaths and more than 400,000 injuries annually. The statistics go on to say that 1 out of every 4 accidents is linked to texting and driving. That makes, if you text, that means you're 23 to 25% more likely to get into an accident than if you stay focused. And those numbers may actually be higher because distracted driving often goes unreported because it's hard to admit once you've been in an accident to get out of the car and say, yeah, it was me, I was texting, I was distracted. Who does that, right? Among teenagers, more than 20% of the fatal crashes involve the use of a smartphone. So for the teenagers in the room that haven't started driving yet, trust your parents when they say, leave your phone at home. Here's what matters most. Most of these accidents don't happen because someone intended to be reckless. They happen because someone thought, well, let me just check it real quick. Just this once. It'll only take a second. No one plans to drift into another lane. No one plans to rear end the car in front of them. It happens when our attention shifts, when focus is lost. Now it's hard to believe that you're getting a driver's ed course on a Sunday, right? But isn't that something how Solomon's wisdom from 3,000 years ago can be so relevant and applicable to something that we may be doing every day, and that's driving? It's not just true on the highway, it's true in our faith, in our relationships, in the direction of our lives. Spiritually speaking, most damage doesn't come from open rebellion. It comes from a distraction. We don't stop believing, we just stop paying attention. Our eyes drift, our focus shifts, and before we know it, we're far off course. That's why Proverbs sounds so practical, almost startlingly practical. Notice the physical language that Solomon is using here. Eyes, feet, paths, swerving. Solomon understands what we know behind the wheel. Where your eyes go, your life follows. The danger isn't that you stop moving, it's that you keep moving without discretion, without attention. Let your eyes look straight ahead, he says. Don't glance at what will pull you off course. Fix your gaze directly before you. That's not casual attention, that's intentional focus. Make level paths for your feet. Wisdom isn't just believing the right things, it's choosing paths that actually support where you're going. Do not swerve to the right or to the left, because swerving doesn't start with a sharp turn and a stomp on the gas. Swerving starts as a simple drift. Most people don't wreck their faith by slamming the accelerator on and doing a hard right or hard left. They start with a simple drift. So wisdom says, watch your eyes, choose your path, and stay focused. And when we do fix our eyes on the right place, something powerful happens. Our direction begins to change. Proverbs isn't just warning us about what to avoid. It's an invitation into something better. When our eyes are fixed in the right direction and in the right place, our lives don't just stay out of trouble. They begin to move with purpose. Because what we give our attention doesn't just affect our behavior, but it reshapes our future. The Apostle Paul was a powerful example. Before he encountered Jesus, Paul was intensely focused, driven, disciplined, and even successful. He had clarity and direction, but his attention was fixed on the wrong place. He believed he was serving God, yet in his life, everything he touched fell to destruction. And then one moment, everything changed. On the road to Damascus, Paul's attention was interrupted and arrested by Jesus. His sight had been taken away. And when Paul's eyes were reopened, his entire direction changed. He still had the same passion. He still had the same intellect and the same credentials. He still had the same drive. But now it was aimed towards someplace new, someplace worthy, someplace righteous. Before Christ, Paul's life was built on persecution. After Christ, his life was built on proclamation. Jesus didn't take Paul's focus away, he just reshifted it in the right direction. Paul didn't lose focus when he met Jesus, he gained it. Now, not everyone is called to change careers, but everyone who follows Jesus is called to change in direction. I like to put it this way: God loves you so much that he sent his son to die for you. And he loves you even more than to leave you the way you are. There's something about interacting with Jesus that causes internal change, spiritual change, for the better, not for the worse. You see this pattern here developing? Our attention leads to direction, and our direction leads to a destination. Not all attention changes are good, though, right? And Andy Stanley puts it this way in his book: all of us have people, events, or opportunities in our past that we wished would have never grabbed our attention. We've all been there. A relationship we should have walked away from, a decision we knew wasn't wise, an investment that we just had a gut feeling that wasn't the right one, but it felt right in the moment. A path we started down because it looked appealing, and then we asked later down the road, how in the world did I get here? How did I end up in this ditch? Distraction rarely announces itself as destructive. It usually shows up as something emotional, emotionally engaging, drawing our attention away from the things that our attention should be focused on. That's why advertisers are so good at what they do. They sell feelings. They sell comfort. They sell excitement, belonging, validation. And many of the distractions that pull us off course promise something good while quietly leading us away from where we should be into something dangerous. So that's why Solomon warns us, do not swerve to the right or to the left, because swerving doesn't start with rebellion. It starts with our attention. Solomon isn't saying never feel anything. He's saying don't let your feelings drive your direction. Don't let what feels good override what leads to life and life everlasting. Now here's the good news. You and I have a choice about what we give our attention to. Distraction may be common, but we can refuse to allow it to have weight in our life. Solomon says, fix your gaze. That's intentional language. It assumes that we have power to make a decision. Now, you can't control every distraction that comes your way, but you can choose what you dwell on. You can choose what shapes your thoughts. You can choose what sets your direction in your life. I can tell you some of the most spiritually, what's the right word? The most spiritually content moments in my life usually come during Lent. Because as of the last few years during Lent, I've given up social media. And I can tell you at the end of Lent, there's such a peace in my heart and in my mind and in my spirit. I often wonder, why in the world would I turn it back on? I'm just saying. Pay attention on purpose. Choose paths that are firm. Refuse to drift. And when you do look away, and we all do, God's grace invites us to refocus and to realign and do a course correction. When we choose to look where God is leading, God does what only God can do. He meets us on the road and shapes and reshapes the directions of our lives. So I say again, fix your gaze and let God shape the road ahead, because what has your attention also has your future. So let me close with asking a few questions. What has your attention right now? Is it career, finances, relationships, some other change? Is it something healthy? Or is it something slowly pulling you off course? And the second question, what do you want to have your attention? If you could only fix your eyes on one thing, what would it be? Paul gives us the answer in Philippians. He says, and I quote, "Forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead, I press on toward that goal." That's focus, and that's direction. The writer of Hebrews warns that we must pay more careful attention so that we do not drift away, and then gives us that answer. Let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith. Isn't that the key? I'll just say it. Amen. She was taking notes. Fix your gaze on Jesus. Stop swerving towards those things that are drawing us away. They may look good, but they aren't in the end. Jesus said this, after all, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." You could almost translate him saying this, Jesus, I am the path. He's not just showing us the way, he is the way. So let me ask you one last time, what has your attention today? What path are you walking on? And where? Where, oh, where will it lead you? Now, some of you may have never chosen to follow Jesus, and some of you have been lifelong followers of Jesus. I want to close with a prayer for both. Would you pray with me? For those who are on the fence, seeking to transform their path and their life and their destination, I offer this prayer. You can say it in your heart. Jesus, I believe that you are the way. I believe that you are the truth. And I believe that you are the life. I've been walking my own path. But today, I'm choosing to follow you. Forgive my sins. Lead me and help me fix my eyes on you. And for the lifelong believers in the room, Lord, I've let my attention wander. But today, I'm choosing to refocus on you. Help me to walk your path faithfully, to fix my gaze on you alone, and to stay the course all the way home. And all God's children said, Amen.